friend. How you doing, Gaming Bob? Got folks in the house. You know what I mean? Brody's in the stream and ready to clean house. Here, this question for folks in the poll this morning. How much would you pay for the one of 500 serialized Ragavan? Vote with your mouse. I'd like to know, is any price high enough? Can you pay enough for one of 500 cards? Let me know. Vote with your dinars. How you doing, Dual Brains here? Amy Bob's in the house. Friends in the house. Friends of the channel. Got an interesting. Could be a good one. Going. You know what I mean? Tea time. Travel date. Traveling. Early. Cookie. Turkey. Steak and pajamas day. It's hump day. Talking me. Stocks this. Folks. Ed's dual brain. Nice. Sip, sip, sip. It's a little sip. Sip. Make sure we got everything in here this morning. Article happening. Start here in about a minute. Let some folks get into the chat here. It should be good stream today. Got some interesting stuff to go over for folks here today. Good morning, Magic fans. Beautiful, amazing fans of Magic the Gathering who love this game as much as I do. Thanks again for joining me here on the stock desk. We cusped that 250 subscriber mark, the highest quality viewers in the world. I'd like to thank you all for joining me here again for a Wednesday edition of some Magic the Gathering stocks and talks, calling all Magic players, Jedis, and fans who love the game as much as I do. Join the stream, all are welcome here. Help the Bro Show grow and hit that notification bell. This is the place where you're going to get up-to-date Magic the Gathering news as it happens. If you're tuning in anywhere else who's giving you pre-recorded videos, you're going to be late to the party because it's already happened. This is the one place you can get it live and direct. We have the friends of the channel in the chat here today. Ed, my main man over at Dual Brain MTG, is tuning in, as well as Gaming Bob, another brother friend of the channel. Thanks to you folks for joining. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much darned information? Let me do it for you. I'm doing it each and every day, Monday through Friday, except tomorrow and Friday and next Monday because Brody's heading to Dusty Cully's wedding. See this card here? Happily ever after. I'm going to be heading down to wish Dusty Cully happily ever after part of his life. And for all of those of you folks joining life with me, I really want to give a special thanks. I'm going to get a chance to sit down, maybe play a game of paper, and just catch up with some really good friends in the flesh and in the blood. Did I say flesh and blood here on the channel? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't, but I'll get to go and see some of my very good friends and catch up with them and see how life has been treating them, share some laughs, have a good time, and enjoy. So, for those of you who are just tuning in on the channel, I have a question on the poll here this morning. Interesting news, and why do we ask this? How much would you pay for the serialized number 1 of 500 Ragavan? How much is enough? Is there enough money in the world that you could not spend? Would you get your neighbor's girlfriend's boyfriend's credit card out and just swipe that sucker? Well, we're going to get into that and who's got the number 1 serialized card, Ragavan, 1 of 500 in the invention border that everybody's been talking about. Excited to have a release. And how did it end up in the hands of who got it? The little Timmy who pulled it, right? The player, the new Magic player who pulled it out of a pack. I'm sure they're celebrating over there. They're, pulling their very first invention. I can remember when I saw the very first one pulled in that amazing foil border treat. Gonna be such a sight to behold. So who is the lucky person who will be cherishing this magic card, 1 of 500, and holding on to it, keeping it in their collection? And just like the fun, we want you folks to have the fun in your collection. That's why I'm bringing you this show here today. I want to preserve the fun value in your Magic the Gathering collection. I do, and it's important to me that we discuss some very important events that are happening in the world of Magic the Gathering and finance in order to preserve the fun value in our collection, catching on to things as they happen. But before we get started, I want to make sure the stream is working well. All the buttons, the widgets, the push buttons, the fans, the voting, the commenters are all working properly. So we're going to just take a minute to warm up here with a couple of AI generated magic cards. Seen it before, folks. We're going to see it again. The AI is our friend, is it? Until it starts to do some nasty things, I think we can probably say that the AI is our friend. I know your time is valuable and you don't have time to waste. But we're going to go over the rules here quickly this morning. If those of you who are new to the show and haven't checked out already, if the card has any gibberish on it whatsoever, we fail it. And you're going to hear this sound. Make sure the buzzer is working here this morning. And if the card is playable, anything whatsoever, even if it's a little bit overcosted, you'll hear this sound. Sound of the dinger, the ding, the ding. It's a wonderful thing. Let's just turn it up a little bit. We'll give you one more just to make sure everybody's tuning in loud and clear. Good morning, Time Capsule. Benson is in the house. If you haven't been over and you want to check out some pretty awesome shorts and some magic, you want to up your Magic the Gathering tech 1 minute at a time, that's the place to do it. Head on over to Benson's channel. He's got some next level plays for you folks. Vote with your clicker here this morning. I'm going to go over this couple of Magic Gathering cards. What's the first one we got here? First up, God of the Pertains, God of the Pertains. This is a creature dog. Power and toughness on the dog of the Pertains. 4/4 flying protection from artifacts. Cost you 2 black and 2. All right. And you can play it for its. The AI is now doing double-sided cards, modal cards. A black on one side and a Boros on the other. You can cast it as a dog or a human soldier. Flying, whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay a blue and 1 if you do draw a card. This card is decent. What's this? Sports trending. Bret Hart is trending? I'm going to have to look at that. I may get a chance to meet Bret Hart here at Grand Con coming up in Grand Prairie in the very, very future. I've been petitioning Bret on the Twitter bots as well as Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm hoping those two make it to Grand Con because I've got some pretty cool. I want to meet him. The Macho Bro wants to meet Bret the Hit and Hart and get a couple of magic cards signed. Let's check this out. Okay, so this card it seems okay. We rate it OP, fair, playable, or word salad. I think it's fair. Fair card. Fairest of mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? The Harmon banner. A banner. Bruce Banner. Is it Bruce Banner? No, it's a Planeswalker that says 3 loyalty for 2 red and 3. It says create a 1/1 devil creature token, search your library and or graveyard for a card named God of the Pertin. Then that player shuffles. Och ability costs 2 less to activate. Ocho ability costs too much to activate. Okay, I think this is probably fine. It should say each ability costs 2 less to activate. It's a mythic planeswalker, and I think we all know that the only ones that don't have an uptick are supposed to be uncommon. But I don't think that the AI knows that. I'm tempted to give this card a pass. Passeria, perhaps? What do you folks think? Can we pass it? MTG Gaming Bob says he's got big news. Pure MTG crew, Pat the Popper, is merging his channel with ours. We're going to be bringing more content, including non-Magic the Gathering content. All very excited. Stay tuned. That's great news. Benson wants to know a little bit more about it. It's totally fine. And Brody, thanks for the shouts. Shouts. I like to speak up and speak out when things are amazing. I'm going to pass this card unless any of you folks see why not. It's just got a spelling mistake on it. Let's rate it. Is it fair, OP, unplayable word salad? I'm going to give it a fair. See, we don't know what the God of the Pertains is. Wait, is it that card we just look at? God of the Pertains. It goes and gets the previous card. Look at that. So it goes and gets the God of the Pertains. This seems just fine. I like it. It's a search up, but then it leaves itself with 1 loyalty. It's 5 mana. Get the search for the God of the Pertains. God of the Pertains isn't even that good. Let's give it a fair. Call it word salad. Oh, come on. Because of the spelling mistake, Och ability. You don't want to pay less for an Och ability? How about this island? Can you guys get on an island? This is a dark and dreary island. Lonely Island, right? Thing in a box. Lonely Island. Chris Cox. All together. One music video. How are we doing here this morning, folks? This island, it looks good. Land type up top matches the land type at the bottom. Basic land, island. I like it. Probably okay. Let's give it a pass. Seems just fine. Moving on, moving on. Time Capital says, used to work with Frank Morel. Was known as the Angel on Onong. Among other names, finished his career as a ref. Cool. I'm a big wrestling fan. If you guys haven't noticed already, I've got the Magic 30 wrestling belt that I took all the way to Magic 30, even made an appearance on stage and played a couple of games. It was a lot of fun. I've got some original I'll show you. I'll show you. It's pretty cool. I'll show you what I'm going to try and do. As Bret Hart is trending, the friends of the channel are lending a hand. Doc Magic. I got some of these original Check these out. These are some artifacts. Got some of these original Coliseum video. Got this one here. Coliseum Video presents with rental of free gift with rental of VHS tape. World Wrestling Federation superstar Bret the Hitman Hart postcard, unsigned, like there's nothing on the back. So I'm hopefully gonna get him to maybe sign the back of this. And then I got this one here for Bret Hart as well. This one is Coliseum Video postcard. This one's got the stats from Calgary, Alberta from 1993, Titan Sports. This one's from 1993, so it's a little bit older. And this other one's from 1997. So I'm hoping that I can run into Bret over at Grand Con if he makes it and get some of those signed. Should be pretty interesting. Memorabilia for sports and stuff that I just love. All right, we passed this island. It seems fine. Look at this one. Twin Thorn Harmaster. Armmaster, an Orzhov card, 3/3, sacrifice an imp. Imping. Sacrifice, pay a black and 2, sacrifice a creature. Gain control of target permanent for as long as you control Twin Thorn Harmmaster. This card's powerful. Be kind, rewind. We should talk about WWE being purchased by the parent company of the UFC. Interesting news. I did not know that. What I kind of want to know, and this is something that I wanted to I'll speak on about with wrestling, and it's kind of interesting. Like a lot of the characters that you see in wrestling are created by the WWE as it's known now. So the character that they play, let's just say, name any one of them. If it's not their real name, like Bret the Hitman Hart, they don't own their own likeness. Say, for example, they want to carry on and take that persona elsewhere and market it. They can't do it without the permission of the person who created the character. Now, that becomes pretty interesting when you consider, you could find The Undertaker on a Magic card as the Undertaker, and the person who actually played the Undertaker wouldn't get much of anything out of the deal. In fact, if you wait until some of those characters are passed on and aren't alive anymore, you could potentially see like a scenario where you could put any person's likeness in character form if you only elect intellectual property on a trading card, get away with it. Wouldn't that be awesome? So would you like to join Joe Mangiello's D&D play group? The Big Show plays in his group. Oh, cool. Dude, that would be an awesome table. I would love to check it out. What about this Twin Thorn Harmmaster? This thing gets your opponent's permanents. And you got to sacrifice a creature and gain control of any permanent. This thing seems powerful. It seems pretty good. I'm going to give it a pass. It's definitely overpowered because it can take any permanent. And look at the art on this card right here. Surgeln Colt. All right, hold on to your Colk. Don't get your Colk out and put it on the table. This Surgeln Colk, the flying enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep, scry 3 damage to target creature planes. Get out of here. Get your Colk out of here. Surgeln Colk. No way. This is word salad. We're going to fail it right now. Right now, as Chris Tucker would say. And here we are back to the beginning, folks. All right. Good morning, Magic fans. Thanks for joining me. It seems as though the stream is running tip-top and tiddly-boo this morning. It's great. It's happening. Everything is working the way it's supposed to. So let's get into a couple of pieces of Magic the Gathering news. The serialized number 1 Ragavan 1 of 500 has been found. Excuse me, Brody had a little sniffle. I was saying the serialized number 1 of 500 Ragavan has been found, and it's already posted up for sale. And there's a little bit of chatter going on Reddit. If you look, you'll find it. There's people saying that the fix is in because this serialized card has shown up none other than over at Star City Games for sale. Taking serious offers only, direct messages are open, cannot ship until Friday at the earliest, free shipping. So if you look here, folks, the number 1 of 500 serialized Ragavan has made its way directly over to Star City Games. And this is like before anybody that I know is even opening this product. So it bodes the question, are we going to get a fair shake at opening the One Ring? Like, where does Wizards have control over where these serialized cards go? Well, if you read the comments and you check Reddit, there's a lot of people speculating foul play and that the fact that this serialized 1 of 500 ends up over at the big box stores, it doesn't really give it a chance to get into the hands of a Magic player, and but somebody's going to get it if they pay enough money for it. Hence, why I was sort of asking the question: what is the fair market value for this card? Is it $500, 500 to $1,000, or over $10,000? Well, if you consider the fact that there were some people playing, trying to sell full playset of Ragavans that were the promos. Here's another set. MTG Rob is selling, and then Ben Blyweiss selling a playset of Ragavan Nimble Pilfero Secret Lair prize cards. And three here's a likely story. Myself and 3 other friends all qualified this tournament by winning a larger tournament at the venue, looking to move them as a playset for $25,000, not interested in trades at this time. So this is the anchor, okay? So like this is the shiny bauble that Wizards of the Coast is dangling in front of content creators who are chasing Magic the Gathering events, running around and trying to keep up to date. But let's face it, this goalpost is going to continue to move farther and farther down the road. This honestly, it's rewarding people who are at the events and are willing to go to the events, but it seems like a little bit over correcting, I'd say. Like, how are we able, like, where do these people get the money? Do they have jobs? What do they, like, is there better things that you could be spending $25,000 on? Who's paying $25,000 for a playset of Ragavans? And how much is the serialized version going to go for? This is all part and parcel, which ties into the video I released last night about Wizards of the Coast trying very desperately hard to get into the pockets of people. And this is on this selling cards directly on the secondary market with the secret layer. I find it very interesting. Now, these cards, how are we gonna? Where's the money coming from? Well, we know energy isn't created or destroyed. It only changes form and it only moves from one pocket to another. And when major corporations and big stores are using the serialized cards as a sponge to suck up money in the economy, I would be very, very careful getting caught up in this hype, because there's no way that I could see putting a brand new printed card with a price tag on it that's comparable to the Black Lotus, but that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're saying, well, if people will pay $50,000 for a Black Lotus, why wouldn't they pay more for a 1 of 500 Ragavan? Interesting conversation here for you folks today. Are there any Jedis watching? We're going to bring you some Jedi news as Hasbro Star Wars reveals the vintage collection Tusken Raider and Massif. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Hasbro news in other news for all you Jedis and Mandalorians out there. Bounty hunters, pay attention. And I know I'm talking to you, Karen Jotter. Our play group is called the MTG Bounty Hunters because we're playing for bounty. The Jedi News is excited to share the reveal of the vintage collection of Tusken and Massif action figures inspired by their appearance in Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett, presented on retro Kenner card back packaging. So, if you remember the story, then there's a video out there that's called The Toys That Made Us, and it's a very interesting show. If you get a chance, I suggest watching it. And it's all about Kenner and how Kenner had the intellectual property rights to make all the toys for the Star Wars video and or the Star Wars movie, and all they had to do, and this is what I'm talking about, time in the market. All right? Wealth and the generational creation of wealth is cyclical. I've said it before, folks, and I'll say it again. The generational creation of wealth cyclical. Now, if you didn't come from money where you have a long pedigree of family members who own major corporations and have wealth that is handed down from you to them, this is a very good story to cover. If you get a chance to look at the the video, the toys that made us, because it's a very interesting article. It's a very interesting story how Kenner Toys lost the intellectual property contract to make the toys for Star Wars. And because they had to pay $1 million in royalties every year. And what they basically did was they produced the three Star Wars movies. The toys sold for a couple of years. And then they stopped making Star Wars videos, Star Wars movies. There was even a Star Wars animated cartoon that only played once. It only aired once on TV, and then they stopped making all Star Wars video productions altogether, which left Kenner with a $1,000 or a $1 million bill each and every year that they wanted to hold on to that intellectual property, and they could have kept it forever. Yes, they signed a deal where they could have maintained the rights to make the toys for Star Wars in perpetuity so long as they paid the $1 million a year. Now, considering now if you were if you were up to some shenanigans, wouldn't you, and you wanted that intellectual property like Hasbro has now? They have the property rights to make the toys. So if you wanted those top property rights, you would have to ensure that the company that's currently got them isn't going to hang on to that brand, and it may take an entire generation or decades of not producing any Star Wars movies or any Star Wars content so that the demand for these toys goes to zero. And Kenner Toys just couldn't pay the $1 million a year. They just didn't see that it worth it. It was something that wasn't going to get any more production value. And then once they lapsed on it, Hasbro jumped on it and signed on for the intellectual property rights, and they now have them. Big business then firing up again with the finishing off the six-part series of Star Wars movie and all the spin-offs of all the different movies that come with. Hasbro has positioned itself in a pretty sweet spot, and it doesn't seem to be by accident that this stuff tends to happen. So, if generational wealth is the name of the game, how do you maintain the fun in your collection? Well, this is no different than selling a magic card that isn't popular at the moment, right? You have a card and maybe it's some Arabian Nights cards. We've all talked to folks who let go old Arabian Nights cards, old Alpha Beta cards, Legends cards, especially the rare ones, the ones that are sets that are even harder to find, letting them go because there's little interest on them. But that's just the way of the market sort of settling down so that people can pick up more positions and buy. As soon as you move off of that piece of real estate, there's going to be somebody there filling it in behind you. So the Jedi News says that the fans could celebrate the legacy of Star Wars with the action and adventure-packed space saga from the legacy far, far away with this premium 3.75-inch tall scale Star Wars Vintage Collection Tuscan Massif figure 2-pack. These Tuscan and Massif action figures are inspired by the characters and creators of Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett live action series on Disney, which is going about as well as Lead Balloon. Each member of Tuscan clan must learn useful become guards. They are aided by reptilian creatures, massifs, to watch over prisoners of the tribe. So, what were we talking about just the other day? Hasbro is launching all kinds of products appeal to Star Wars fans, Lord of the Rings fans, and other any type of intellectual property. It's all coming at you folks, the consumer. Be aware, there's going to be a plethora of products arriving at the marketplace. So if you're a big investment banker, what do? You're looking for a place to park some money. I mean, Silicon Valley Bank has folded. Credit Suisse is in turmoil. There's been other banks that have been starting to fail all around the world. And investment bankers like the ones that were at the fireside chat definitely are looking for places to park investor money. And it looks like Hasbro is the company what they're betting on who has the most stake in the game and is able to pull on the heartstrings and the fans of young players and old players who remember these brands as much as we back in the day. So they're trying to get into your wallet, and that is who is buying Hasbro stock. Big corporations that are looking to suck up the money from your hard-working dollars that are out there and filter them up. A big transfer. Going to give you some plastic toys. Just keep on going to work, and everything is going to be fine. Now I know it's fun, but I'm saying be careful, don't overspend. Everything that glitters isn't gold, including new one of 500 print Ragavans. I don't know who's paying $25,000 for it, but there's a cool sucker born every minute. Don't let it be you. Of course, if you open it yourself, I think that's fine, but it seems a little stinks a little bit when a big store like Moon City Games pulls the number one serialized card. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with the One Ring that ends up in the same hands. It's going to start to stink a little bit more than it does already. Let's take a look at the price of Hasbro stock. $52.41. It's up 0.38 of a percentage point in the last couple of days. It's actually starting to move up a little bit, and it's maybe because like some of these new products are actually selling. There's going to be a whole plethora of Magic the Gathering sets coming out this year, and I'm quite happy to sit and wait and watch them sit on the shelf so that I can pick them up at discount. I'd like to pick them up like these Bret Hart uh, back in the day collector's item. I picked them up at a garage sale for cheap. This bottom resistance seems in, and it's tough to see here, but I think it's a bit difficult for Hasbro stock to rally some support. People are saying that the target for this stock is $42, and it has not hit that yet. The One Ring will be like McDonald's Monopoly. Fair shake from $1 billion company. Yeah, I can't. It's a Fugazi. It's absolutely. It's an imagined, creating a fictitious and imaginary hype. And if some folks can cash in on the secondary market by getting 25,000 for a Ragavan, it's anything to push sales and get this stock out of the toilet where it's headed. Just be patient. The will folks win in the end. 60% of you folks think that the price tag for the serialized Ragavan should be $500 or less. I find it funny because like the Sol Ring and the Mana Crypt from Kaladesh are already over $1,000 or pushing $1,000 just about. All right, what else have we got for you folks? in other Magic the Gathering news, let's take a look at one more time. Speaking of generational wealth, I'm going to show you this chart one more time. I've shown it before, and I'm going to show it again. Periods to make money. Any of you folks who are tuning in on the channel, friends of the channel who haven't covered this card, maybe you're new, maybe it's Tommy Siddons, maybe it's somebody who hasn't seen this chart before. This is a chart called Periods When to Make Money. I'm going to go over it one more time with you folks here. One of my absolute favorites, talking about generational wealth, preservation, self preservation at this point, because buying those buying those ragavans is not this is what this is what people are going to do if you give them the $25,000 for ragavan. Look for sales right now, and I'm not even kidding you. I've seen a lot of really good sales in the world today, and not just in magic cards. We're talking about hard goods, like actual goods. Okay, I've seen a lot of sales, like at the grocery store. I've seen spray cleaners, okay, like disinfectant micro brand cleaners, the big bottles, the spray bottles, something you'd paid 18 or 20 bucks for back a couple of years ago when there were none. You can get them for $1.99 and on sale. Look around, folks, okay, because now is the time to be buying things at auction. It's the time to be buying things that are on sale, new products that didn't sell and are overstock and that nobody wants. Like, if I could have done it better, I would have bought a container load full of plexiglass about 3 or 4 years ago. And where I'm going with this is something that's came in high demand. But this is how the rich get richer, and they keep the working man down and keep getting their hands in the working man's pocket. It's called generational wealth, and big wheel that keeps on turning. So across the top, we've got this here. It says periods when to make money. All right. This is what it's called. Periods when to make money. And this is how it works. This was found, if you look over here down behind me, it's this was written and drawn in 1875. And as far as I know, this is drawn up by a hardware store owner who put this in the back of his hand-drawn catalog. So if you want to make money and if you want to know how these big companies are doing it, it's just like what happened with Kenner and their intellectual property for the Star Wars toys. They had it, and as soon as they let it go, it might have taken a decade or 2 decades or 3 decades. Somebody picked it up for nothing because they thought it was worthless, Hasbro, and now they're using it to churn out record profits because they're firing back up the Star Wars series. So right down here is where we are, 2023. And this is the very first instance of an algorithm that I can show you folks. Across the top, we've got these recurring periods. A is periods in which panics have occurred and will occur again: 1927, 1945, 65, 81, 99, 2019, 2035, and 2053. This is a recurring pattern of numbers, and you can run this out: 18 year, 20 year, 16 year, 18 year, 20 year, 16 year, 18 year, 20 year. So according to this chart, we just had a panic in 2019. Yes, it did call the panic in 1999. That's the one in New York City. 1981, that's the depression that my parents lived through. 1965, that's another depression. 1945 and 27, these are uh, wars that happen in the world. So this thing is incredibly accurate. So it's telling us that the next panic is going to occur in 2035. That's going to be the next one. And then after that, it's going to be 2053 or thereabouts. So these are years in which panics are going to occur, markets are going to crash, and things are going to go down very quickly to periods of hard times where folks are going to be able to pick up hard times. Low prices, a good time to buy stocks, corner lots, goods, and hold until the boom reaches years of good times, then unload. And I want to make something very clear, because when you go to the store and you buy the stuff that you need every day, everything is costing more. A pack of magic cards has gone up, a box of, they're just coming out with a truck. If you want to go buy a new truck, There's are things to stay away from, new vehicles, things that don't hold value. What you want to look for now is auction sales, any people that are liquidating or selling businesses in order to raise capital to pay their overhead and pay their rent. This is what I'm talking about. The bargain bin at the grocery store where I picked up a dozen bottles of spray cleaner for $1.99. Things that you can't even produce for the cost of what they're selling them. They're just blowing out brand new. Keep your eyes open. Now is the time to pick up physical goods on discount that are on sale, people liquidating in order to keep cash flow going, and now is the time to do it. Don't look at the new products that are coming out that are getting priced with inflation. Look for the people who are handing over, and it's called capitulation. All right. So the term of the day, and I want you guys to know it, is capitulation. We're going to go over that. That's what we're talking here on Stocks and Talks. Capitulation. So you hold now, and it's telling us on this chart that we're going to have a 3-year up period to 2026. Periods of good times, high prices, time to sell those stocks and hard products of all kinds. So what I'm saying is the $79 booster boxes that I got from New Penna, I'll probably be able to offload those for a profit if I wanted to in 2026, or any of the new products that don't get sold. So let's take a look over here. I want to look at this term for you folks, because capitulation is the word of the day. It's an act of surrendering or giving up, a document containing the terms of the surrender, the enumeration, and the main part. Okay, so capitulation is a little heard of division. A capitulary, to treat upon terms, is an agreement in the time of war for the surrender of hostile armed forces to a particular off body of troops. So let's go capitulation stock chart. So this is what happens when people give up on a stock. All right, this right here. This is what I'm talking about. Now you look at some people like there's a guy named Carter Thomas who I used to follow exclusively. Watch any stock and any crypto or anything that trades on a market, you get these you see this candle here, folks, capitulation. This is people giving up. They're sitting here watching, and the stock price keeps going down, 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 and they're just like, we got to sell it before it goes to nothing. And then you look at these candles here, right? These candles have a wick on them, and this actually shows right here. These are called candles, each and every one of them. This actually shows the lowest purchase price of that stock at in this period of time is actually right down here. The body of the candle shows the majority price area where the majority of buying and selling occurred, and then the wick that goes up here is the highest price, and it's a very smaller percentage. It's about, the length of this upper wick is what tells us, how much people were selling for a higher price than what the main body is. And the larger this candle gets in the body, the larger the spread of trading the stock during that price period occurs. Now, this is what people refer to in cryptocurrency or in other market selling and market making. They call it, these are the bottom feeders. These are, if you ask, because I followed Carter Thomas for a lot of years before he actually stopped making videos, because people get a lot of flack for making videos, trust me. And some people just say, you know what, screw it, I've had enough. And he probably did well enough that he doesn't have to make videos anymore. But I paid attention. Somebody asked him, he said, Carter, what's your favorite setup for stock trading or buying? And he says, this is like, capitulation is my favorite setup, because if you sit and you watch what people are doing, it maybe you call it bottom feeding, but this is what big generational companies do: is they crash the price and then they set a buy order that's lower, and like the place to make money is right here. That means that somebody sold it and gave up on it and just handed over the keys to their house and sold it at a discount because they couldn't hold on to it anymore. And there could be a lot of reasons for that. because it could be over leveraged, but that is where people make money. And now this is what I'm talking about. I'm in the market rather than timing the market. Do a little homework, look at stock market capitulation and how it pertains. And this here is another beautiful chart illustrating capitulation. You've got people giving up, right? You see this? You've got people giving up on a stock right here, completely giving up on it and selling out of it right here. And then right next to it is these are the people who are standing on the sidelines ready to buy it at a discount. You got people that are ready to take their vehicles, their bulldozers, their cars, their equipment to an auction and just get whatever they can for it. And these are the people that are willing to give them the least amount of money and pick it up. And this is because they're cash positive. They've been sitting and waiting, and they've been like, they're looking at this chart here because they know that when you go through a period of hard times, they're going to wait till people capitulate and give up on their investments, on their properties, on their vehicles, on their stringent things of value, on their sealed products, on their on their reserve list cards. It's like, I can't pay rent. I'm over leveraged. I've got too much going on. Inflation is killing me. I haven't had a raise in 3 years. I've got to get rid of my cards. I'm just going to give up on them. And that's where these Rudies step in, like my little brother, Rudy, my kid brother. That's where guys like that will step in and say, you know what, I've got a deal. I'll give you 50% of the market value. And they have to take it because they are surrendering to the market. That's what this chart is talking about. And this doesn't happen in a year. It doesn't happen in 2 years. It doesn't even happen in 10 years. Like it's like 20 or 36-year cycles. So if you're a young person out there, I want you to know this, because this is the game that's going to get played on you and everybody around you. And I want you to be aware of it, because you get caught up in life and things happen so fast that you don't realize that the price of gasoline is slowly trickling up a little bit at a time, and you don't really notice it. And then, it goes down, and it's these cycles that are happening over and over again, and people don't know how to set themselves up to take advantage of it, because by the time it gets to the bottom, they're capitulating and giving up on everything because they were wandering. It's like that little fairy tale, the ant who worked all summer and squirreled away food for the winter, and then the one that played all winter, and he was, trying to, shack up with the other ant and get food off him. That's exactly how people make money. And the bigger the company, the more aggressively they look to buy up brands, sell things, raise capital to buy out people on a discount. We're seeing it now in property, and we're seeing it in Magic cards. Right now, I am taking advantage of one of the major retailers in Canada capitulating, and they're just giving up on stock, like of sealed boxes. I'm buying them from I bought 8 boxes of New Capenna for $700 Canadian, shipped to the door. So they're just giving up on it. They're like, we can't hold on to this any longer. Just take it. Give us like just about what we paid for it. Just give us our money back. We got to get the next thing in. That is what's happening. So look for that. It's not the brand new shiny thing. It's not the Commander Masters boxes. It's not the seal. See, that's it's not the 1 of 500 Ragavans. It's what those companies are going to do with the $25,000 that you give them for that sealed 1 of 500 Ragavan. They're going to turn around and start buying stuff that people are capitulating on to increase their wealth. And if you help them do it, well, you're going to end up in, we're all going to end up with Brody in the food lineup. Well, there's my rant for this morning on stocks and talks and the market, capitulation, candles and wicks, and the bottom of the barrel. And why do I like cards that are on the bottom end of the reserve list that no one cares about? Because they're just sitting there and nobody cares about them. They don't have any value. It's like soap, or it's like anything. It's not. It's like soap or plexiglass or you know Gloves, sanitizer, masks, nobody cares about it until you actually need them. And then when people find out that they're actually kind of scarce and they're not making any more of them, or you got to get them from another country, well, that's when you make money. So we're just like you don't time in the market. Patience is a virtue. Try to exercise a little bit of restraint with all the stuff that's going to be coming at you. You'll be better for it in the long run. Today, Wednesday. Well, Wednesday, my friend's day. Today, I got a little bit of carried away there with the Wednesday dance the other day. I'm not capitulating yet to the Warren Buffett dance. That's right. Hola from the left coast. Style 06. Thanks. I got to say hello to Style. New viewer here. So Robert O'Brien's in the house. Good morning, Robert. Savannah Lyon is here. Dr. Timmy's Emporium, Anger Collections, Richie Dobbs. Thank you all for joining us. Here's MTG Gaming Bob. This is a tip of the day, folks. Lorcana posted the game rules yesterday. You can only take actions on your own turn. Cannot respond to opponents. I see this as a fundamental design flaw, sadly. All right. MTG Gaming Bob has been following Lorcana. That's the Disney game that's coming out. I gotta take just a minute to say thank you to Style 06, and then we're gonna get into some movers and shakers today. What do you guys want to do? How much are you gonna pay? Vote with your money. How much is too much for one of these Ragavans? Nobody's paying it. See, it's only worth something if somebody's willing to pay it. What do you folks want to see this morning? We got choices for you. Do you want to do we did Modern Monday, we did Pioneer yesterday. We want to do Legacy, Vintage. What do we want to look at today? I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so we can either do Legacy, we can do Vintage, or let's do all. Do we just do all? You look at the all list this morning. Put the poll up for you folks. All. Let's also ask you folks. I need to know you guys want to see, because this is your show. I'm just the idiot that's running the stream. Without you folks, there is no show. So we want to do Popper. How are we feeling this? With your mouse pad here, what are we gonna do? Brody's gonna be heading to Dusty Cully's wedding. Got this for him, and if he's watching, I'm gonna be wishing him a happily ever after. Did Rudy attend Magic 30? No, that's the thing. Magic 30 was for like players who want to play the game. I don't think the guy plays. That's the funny thing. I got this card for Dusty, happily ever after. So I'm heading over to a wedding for one of the Freetreons. I want to thank you viewers, the very best, the finest, the highest quality viewers in the entire world who tune in each and every morning. And Style 06. I got to take a minute and say thanks to Style 06. Thanks for hanging out in style this morning, bringing a little bit of your style to the show. Everybody is welcome here, and if you get a chance, please leave me a comment. And if you haven't left a comment, I would have not known you were there. I want to thank you. Everybody, please welcome Style 06 to the stream. If you know what I mean, give Style 06 a warm welcome. Give him a bro. Give him the warm bro. Brody, welcome here this morning. Welcome Style 06 to the stream. New viewership is appreciated. I thank you for spending a little bit of time with us here. I know your time is valuable. You could be doing anything else in the entire world right now, but you're choosing to hang out with us and join the most highest quality Magic the Gathering fans in the entire world. The entire plane, the entire multiverse. So appreciate you. Thank you for your viewership. I hope you'll join us whenever you can. Please be a friend and welcome Style 06 to the show. I know you guys can do it. Thank you so much. Let's get into our movers and the shakers here this morning. I'm going to take a look at the polls. This is the fun part of the day that I look at every morning. I used to get people are like, Brody, why do you do the show? Okay, I make this show I make this show because it's like the show that I wanted somebody else to make. I've been doing this for a long time. I get up every morning, I look at these movers and I look at these shakers and I'm like, hey, I wish somebody would make like a Magic the Gathering morning finance show. And like it never happened. Nobody did it. And I'm like, fine, I'm going to make the show that I would like somebody to make. And I'm going to make it for you folks. So I appreciate you for joining in. And we can cover these. Looking at these movers and shakers anyway. Is there enough information out there? Is there too much darned information? Let me do it for you. I'm tracking the prices anyway, each and every day. We're doing it every weekday, Monday through Friday, unless Brody's heading to a wedding. Let's check out the movers and shakers. What do you folks want to see? Everybody wants to see the all list. All right, let's do it. Let's check the all list, okay? Let's check everything for the week. Let's do it. All. Brexian invaded the morning bro show and then promptly left when Brody told them how flawed their plan was. Thanks for doing this. I think it's neat. Thank you. Wedding ring, wedding announcement, wedding carriage, Edgar, Olivia, wedding invitation, groom's outfit, bride outfit, Olivia's attendance. Bringing in some style. Welcome, style. Thank you so much. Should have given them all the wedding cards from Scrims and Val, right? Did you send them a wedding announcement with your RSVP? I gotta write this down. I keep the chat up, and I like to make sure I read everybody's comments. So, just so you folks know, I do read all the comments, even if it is after stream. If I don't get to your comment, I will for sure read it. Dr. Timmy's Emporium. These are some good choices. One more round of movers and shakers. Let's go. What do we got? Send them a wedding announcement. Where's Tommy Siddons? Cool brains here. Grasshopper and the Ant. Little Timmy loves that story. I also like the Three Little Pigs. Same kind of message. Capitulation's interesting. Thank you, Timmy. I hope you get something out of it. Olaf from the left coast. Bringing some style. Robert's Table is in the house. Everybody's wishing you well. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you, folks, for onboarding a new subscriber. Hopefully we get your subscription. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Fantalio's here. We're moving and shaking. Fantalio, thank you. Now we can start the show. Let's go. We're looking at the movers and the shakers. Right. All right, we're going to go to the all list. We're going to take a look at everything. Seems how I'm not... Usually we save that for Friday, but because Brody's going to be out of here tomorrow, we're going to look at here's your movers and shakers week. All right, we got alpha betas here, all right? Some alpha betas. Winter Orb. Coming in at the top of the list is Winter Orb, up 23%. You want my opinion, when we look at some of these, and I'm going to expand this list and we're going to go down a little bit farther. We're going to kind of lump all these alpha cards into one lump sum. Now, what's going on right now? Okay, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people exiting Magic and trying to get some money for their collection. There's a lot of alpha stuff. I'll tell you what, the high-end collectors like Alpha Hoarder, like any of the Rudies out there, these are the cards that they're going to want to be picking up, the high-end alpha betas. Now, with advent of Magic 30, there was a lot of people who walked away from Magic altogether. They said, okay, well, I better get something before it all goes to zero. And with that 30th anniversary product, that was probably enough for some people to say, hey, you know what? Nothing is sacred, nothing is safe. So the playable versions, the playable cards like Winter Orb are going to be moving in price. This one's up 23%. I remember it's a combo card that used to be work with Icy Manipulator, but I'll show you another card that actually is good. This card is played in old school, and you got to read between the lines, okay? So if you look here, all and any new folks tuning in to the show, I want you to be aware there's all kinds of pitfalls and bad information out there, okay? And I'll give you an example right here on this page. They don't talk about, they've got all these formats listed here: Standard, Alchemy, Historic, Pioneer, Explorer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. This card's legal in Legacy, legal in Vintage, legal in Commander, Brawl, Historic, Dual Commander, Commander Legends, Penny Dreadful, Pauper, and there's even Tiny Leader and a few other formats out there. But the one that does not show up here and is actually a bit of an underground format, and some of the best people I have ever met in Magic the Gathering, young and old. I've met some young players and older players. Is the old school format. This Winter Orb is an old school card. It's good in old school because in old school you can only play cards with the art from 1993 and 94. And old school players do include Chronicles or any copy of the card that has the original art in it. You can play it, but it must be the original art. So this card, Winter Orb, as a playable old school card, is always going to have some value. So Icy Manipulator, of course, we can't talk about Winter Orb without talking about Icy Manipulator. So let's see what that's worth. The original Icy Alpha. Now remember, this is an uncommon, and this is before the days where we had the set symbol that was colored so we knew what it was. I always thought Icy Manipulator was rare, but it's not. The alpha version of Icy Manipulator is $1,626. But if you want one better, Brody's going to give you some tech here. A little known card. Here's a card that is was originally printed in Legends, and then it was again printed in Fifth Dawn. If you want to play this card with Winter Orb, it's a better way to do it because this only costs 2, and you can cast a Relic Barrier off of Soul Ring. So you go turn 1 Soul Ring, Icy Manipulator, and then you go turn 2 Relic Barrier, and you can tap your Winter Orb to turn it off. Yes, because that's how that particular card works, as well as Howling Mine also costs 2, and the Relic Barrier is only $10. So you can get the same tap effect for an artifact with Relic Barrier as you can with Icy Manipulator. Icy Manipulator is 4 mana and a little bit expensive, so that card's coming in at the top of the list here today. Another pitfall I want you guys to watch out for is this card here, Ice Storm. I've been watching this card for the last couple of weeks, okay? Ice Storm is up 15% and is showing here at $5,193. Let's look at the chart. Here's some mistakes, right? And I'm telling you because I've made this blooming mistake. Brody wakes up one day, you look over here and you see the chart and you're like, "Oh my goodness, look at this. The price of ice is twice as nice. In fact, it's thrice as nice. The ice is going up. Let's storm in and buy this card. It's up to $4,000. You see this chart is just moving up in price, right? It's like, this is expensive. It's a trap, it's a trick, and it's a human factor, and I'll show you. So and I've done this before, I did it with Bayou, and there's a bunch of cards that I've done this with. I wake up each and every morning, I look at the movers and the shakers list, and I see a card spiking, and I see Ice Storm up to $4,000, and then I run over to the vendor shop, and I look here, $350. I can snag myself a copy before anybody notices. It's worked out for me less often than not. Okay. If you're going to do that, check a few things. Okay. If you want it, in this case, if I were to rush out and buy these 2 copies of Ice Storm for $269 and $359, I'd probably be lucky because it is an alpha card and I'd probably be doing okay. No, some, some A face, some A face drove up the price. I'll show you what it is, Benson. It's this right here. Check it out. Go down to TCG Player. Look at the very bottom. Now, there's a couple of places I want you to look. Check the eBay sold listings. These are listings on eBay for $269, $62, $599, $589. Now, that does happen. People do sell cards to themselves to drive up the price, and the algorithm in this computer program that they're using to track the prices here, it will pick it up and it will it'll change the chart. Go to the eBay sold listings, and we talked about that before. You can filter by sold listings and you can see all the copies that are selling. And that way you can do like a little bit of a sales tracking, like what the Moxman does. You can use that as a tool. But go down and check, make sure that there isn't a pricing error. And it happens quite often. Here, I would say this is the culprit right here. Digital Heroes and Legendary Phoenix Games, TCG Player. Now, unless you're buying from a reputable source on TCG Player, somebody that you know, like Anger Collection or Dual Brain MTG, there's some folks out there that are reputable and have TCG Player accounts. Myself, I've never bought on TCG Player because I've heard problems with people trying to buy so say a card does spike. There are people who'd pull shenanigans on TCG Player. So you got to buy from somebody reputable, like Anger Collection, somebody who's been at it for a while, is a real professional, and has your buyer's best interest in mind. Or Ed, the Dual Brain MTG, somebody like him who's going to have your seller's customer satisfaction top of mind. But look at this price here. So this is obviously a pricing mistake. Okay, $5,193 and another one at $5,250. This could be the same person. It could be they missed a decimal point. Who knows? But I would say maybe they have a light played copy for $5,193. So what's happening here is these people are manipulating the price by a way of a pricing error that's driving the entire algorithm to produce this here spike in price. Okay, so this is manufactured by the pricing error that's happened over a player by Digital Heroes and whoever the other one is. I would hope that they would correct it, but the problem is, even if they correct their pricing, it's not going to get rid of this spike that shows up here on the chart. So if you see spikes, be aware of them and how to avoid them. Twiddler's in the house. How you doing, Mister? Yo! Thanks for joining here. If you guys are new to the channel, like Style or any of the folks that are just joining in for the first time, you're looking for the place where all the cool kids hang out in the evening time on Tuesdays and Fridays, head on over to Twiddler's Place. He's got a lot of fun and a lot of action going on there. If you want to crack some packs, you want to do some polls, you want to play some fun games online, that's a good place to do it. You might even catch Brody over there. I was hanging out with those guys yesterday, the 20 or 30 people that were hanging out for a few hours on end, and it's a really good time. I suggest you check it out. If you enjoy the chat and you enjoy the dialogue and you enjoy the conversations and you like having a little bit of fun, that's definitely a place where you folks can do it. Post a link in the description there for anybody who hasn't checked out Twiddler's stream. Please check it out. It's a fun place to go. I enjoy it and I enjoy the chat, and I really had a good time last night. I did have to go to bed early. I was packing and getting ready for the wedding, so it's a good time. Definitely check it out. It's yeah, too kind. Thanks for hanging out last night. I had fun. I wish I could get more duck races. I love and I just like I want to get in on the duck race. Fun. All right, let's check it out. We're looking at the movers and the shakers list. So alpha, beta, and these reserve list alpha, beta duels. Time Vault also on the top of the list. Time Vault again. Again, these are all old school cards. Gauntlet of Might, Goblin King, Underground Sea, Lich, Yamde Tome. Let's go a little bit farther down to the weekly. Look at the weekly. All right, Helm of Chatsuk for $50,000. I call bullspit. There's no way that this Helm of Chatsuk is going to be worth more than the Black Lotus. Probably a pricing error here. Yeah, get it from the vendor's cards. Oh, here's this proves my point. Okay, so watch out for this. Card Mart Express has one light played Helm of Chatsuk for $99,976. So be aware. These pricing errors can move the charts, and then this is just an example of it. All right? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hit the link. Ran a duck race at the end of the stream. I love the duck race. Want to get me some more duck race. Time Walk Plateau, Scrubland, Mind Twist, Winter Orb, Demonic Hordes, Time Vault. So if you want to know why I'm going so fast over some of these Alpha Beta Unlimiteds, because these are cards that are actually collectible. These are like the ABU black border cards. These ones are, people are collectors are gonna want to be buying this. This is probably the stuff that people are capitulating on. I don't think these are done going down yet. Like, let's look at the Goblin King, up 42%. Let's take a look at the chart. See the softening in the market. See, it's not even as high as it was before, and now it's getting a little bit of a tick down in price. It was as high as $800 or $900, and now it's just seen a little bit of a price spike. These prices aren't ready, like they're not done going down. Look at the vendor store, 500. Do you see the price disparity? All right, here's another fancy word for you, stock market term, disparity. When you look at these charts and it says Goblin King is $810, and then you go down to the vendor store, it might look like there's a pretty good deal happening here, but at $500 or $600, these prices are not done going down yet. Wait until the overstock of new products hit stores and get a super high-end sale on any of these cards, unless you're very selective and you pick something you have had your eye on. Elephant Graveyard. Here's a pick. This is a great pick, okay? Out of all the cards on the list here, I'd say Elmo Chatsuk, don't care. Black Lotus would be nice to pick one up, but I think if you're in the market for a Black Lotus, I would wait a little bit longer, and I'd be building myself a buy list right now, try and get some store credit. If this economy gets any worse and like people uh, um it this could possibly leave some players without their cards. They're going to be vendoring them. Time Walk, another Power 9 card. Yeah, that checks out. These prices are all way too high, if you ask me. This one, even if you look at it, $7,995. Go to the vendor store. They have one available for $4,559 right here, which is like 70% of what they're claiming this is worth on the charts, and this is just because they're getting a little bit of a bump up in price here, right? From 79 down to 65. This is going to take a little while for these charts to. Everything is in despair, right? Get yourself an unlimited time walk. Here's one from CCG House. Here's a graded one. This is the stuff that's pushing the medium price up. Graded CGC 9 93.94 for $11,760. The graded ones are going to put the price up, but if you wanted an unlimited one, you can get it for $2,000 to $3,000. And I would say there's going to be probably some more deals on that cutting closer to November. So I would lump all the alpha beta cards and the unlimited cards kind of into the same basket, as that here showing on the movers and shakers. They're all actually overpriced, and you're probably going to be able to pick these up closer to the end of the year on a little bit of a discount. So be selective. Here's a card that I like, is this one here, Elephant Graveyard, $439. I bet you they have it for $200 at vendor store. Yep, $179, $199 for a good copy. This is a good card for changelings, and I would pick up a card like this if I could get it on sale. Decent card that regenerates and target elephant, changeling, or mammoth, and it actually. How do you evaluate foreign black border cards like French Beta, Lightning Bolt, Yamde Tomb? I have no idea. I stay away from that stuff. I don't have any way of evaluating those. I had no idea. That's a deliberate douchebag A bagadoucherie. That's a deliberate bagadoucherie error. I use MTG Goldfish. Sorry, Ed, I was too tired and I don't know how. I have no idea how to evaluate foreign black border cards. I had a friend of mine that had a foreign black border demonic tutor, and it's for me. It's every time I see one of those foreign language cards, I wish I say, well, why wouldn't I just spend the money on the English version that I can read? The French one's not so bad because I can speak it, but and read it and write it. But Foreign Black Border Crusade, I have no idea how to evaluate. French Foreign Black Border Scrubland, I do not know. I'd say play value. I'd lose my whole collection dumping for Black Lotus. I'm not doing it. Simplified PK cards. That is for show, not worth it. I don't know. I'll be the first to tell you when I don't know. Bob, have, have you got a way of evaluating foreign black border cards, alpha cards, the lightning bolt français, Yamde Tome? I don't know. Never done it. Never taken any interest. Never spent any time researching it, but maybe I should. Which is another good reason to make this comment. It opens up my eyes, you know. It gives me a hand uh, seeing what I'm missing, right? So I get so close to the cards every day. I'm looking at them, and what am I missing, right? Maybe I should be looking at that. Maybe there's some deals to be had on black border cards. Here's an actual playable card, right? The Elephant Graveyard is played in Morphle the Boundless and Niv Mizzet Draco Genius. This card, so like, where are we playing Helm of Chatsuk? Nowhere in a banding deck. It's only on the movers and shakers list because of a pricing error. Black Lotus, we know that's 20 grand for an unlimited version, old school. Ice Storm, that's also a pricing error, pushing it on list. Time Walk, 79.99. That's a graded copy, pushing this up. Plateau from beta, that's actually probably close to the price, but there's going to be some disparity. I would say don't pay $5,000 for a plateau in beta. You could probably pick it up for a whole lot less. Any of that goes for any of the dual lands. Mind Twist, here's a playable old school card in alpha. That's why it's on the list. Old school Winter Orb, Demonic Horde, Time Vault, Goblin King, all viable staples in old school. Demonic Tutor, Time Vault, Gauntlet of Might, and the Elephant Graveyard's on the list because of Changeling. It's a good pickup. Like if you couldn't buy Bazaar of Baghdad, it's a rare, right? Let's take a look here. Elephant Graveyard, reserve list rare from Arabian Nights. Why is Bazaar of Baghdad $3,000 to $5,000 and it's a rare land? Well, it's so much money because it can Mishra's Workshop in the top land spot in Vintage and Old School, but it doesn't mean it's any less rare than an Elephant Graveyard, which is a land from the same Arabian set. So this tells me something. This is always going to be some good value. Let's check this out. So there we go. Elephant Graveyard Underground Sea Moat. This card is a Legends card. It's been bought out many a times. Life Lace, an alpha rare. Gauntlet of Might, Bazaar of Baghdad. There it is there. The Tabernacle at Penril Vale, a card that is sideboard tech in Vintage. And like Vintage, yes, it is legal in Lands Plate. Ancestral Recall, Earthquake, actually this earthquake is probably a good pickup right now considering the new battle mechanic and the ones that triple the amount of damage. This is actually a decent pickup, right? Want a collectible version of earth? Yeah, sold out, hard to find right now. King Collectibles has one for 800. This is a playable card. Earthquake doing moving up on the list week. And Fork, Illusionary Mass, Pirate Ship, Flash Fires, Mirror You. Some interesting on stock desk. Well, folks, It's been a slice, and I can't thank you all enough. Any new subscribers, hitting that like button, the notification bell. These are your movers and the shakers for Wednesday, April 12th. Thanks for joining me here this morning. Lich, there's another card. All like this black bordered. These black bordered alpha beta unlimited cards are all over movers and shakers list, showing some strength in the market, but I think the juice doesn't match the squeeze. Check the vendor stores. There's some price disparity going on. They're actually selling for a lot cheaper than what's advertised here. So don't be fooled. There are some deals to be made, but it's definitely not on this Jamde Tome or the Helm of Chatsu for $55,000. The cops are at the door. They've caught on to us. They know we're having too much fun. We're showing people how to get the fun into their collection. Thanks again for each and every one of you for joining. Ed, the Dual Brain, MTG Gaming Bob, Benson, Style 06, Friends of the Family, Michael Superbacker, Twiddler in the house, Benson and Friends, Fantalio, Robert O'Brien, everybody who's joining me here. I thank you for viewership, your comments, and support. It means the world to me. There is no show without you folks. Thanks again for tuning in. This is your morning Magic the Gathering Stocks and Talks. I'm Brody Alfonso, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Cosmic Seeds. Stay cosmic.